This is the Platinum Podcast.
Welcome to the Platinum Podcast. And now I'm going to pretend I didn't just do that about 4 times in preparation.
I'm just receiving.
Oh, I'm so fucking happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be with you, my love.
Epic. Every time we get together, it always goes off in a million different directions. I'm actually quite excited to work out where Marci Lock even comes from. Well, without going into the cosmos, and it's a big old question.
Yep.
But so I'd love you to tell people a little bit about what you do right now, and then we'll go into
my God, what I do right now in this moment.
and then we'll give some context as to how you started doing what you do right now.
Oh, beautiful, love. Well, the easiest way to describe, I think people describe me, is I'm SunDari, known as the Alchemist of Light. So I'm a spiritual teacher and mentor. So my passion is just to transmute everything that is not in alignment with our divinity into light. It's like we're all fucking alchemists. So, you know, and right out the gate, it's like, I love that spiritual, we can say fuck. And it's like,
I appreciate that.
All things are available here. So really, it's aligning people to live in their greatest adventure as their life, their own luscious love affair, you know, go and do whatever the fuck we want to do in our highest divinity and remembrance, because that's our divine birthright. So that's what I do. In
a nutshell.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
And what do you want to do? What is your highest divinity? What do you like doing with your time?
Being in this fucking moment is my greatest, highest joy. I'm always living in the eternal now, right now, in this moment, in my total bliss and flow. My peace is my highest priority. So I say all the time, like, peace is my highest priority. If there's anything that pops up in my field that I'm not at peace with, obviously it's showing me what is here. It's revealing itself of what is ready to be healed and loved, that I become at peace. I'm in complete neutrality with all of life. So, you know, I'm operating in just pure fucking bliss in this moment with you, my love.
I mean, I see that every single time I see you.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you not smiling.
Yeah, really?
Is that a thing? Does that happen?
It does.
It does happen?
Actually, you know what's so funny though, is for years people were like, do you experience shit? And I'm like, because I teach, one of my teachings is like, the gift is in the shit. It's, again, alchemizing it. But again, if we see it as like bad and wrong and hard, of course you're going to fight it and resist it. If we're like, oh, beautiful, interesting, let me lean in. And we find that, but yet I don't really see shit as shit anymore. Right? Like, it's oh, cool, what's here for me? So, yeah, I am definitely fucking human. I am super human. I feel the depths of all my emotions. All things have a right to exist. So, you probably just have caught me in the moments where I see you and I'm like, yeah!
You're always excited. You're always happy to see me. I know that fucking That's a good time.
That's because you're such a bright being. I love reflecting.
I try and keep it good.
Yeah, you don't even have to try. You just are.
It's just natural. It comes with it. Mm-hmm. It's funny you say that. I think that was one of the biggest turning points in my life, is when I suddenly realized that everything shit that kind of happens is just great in some capacity. Yeah. And I think when you can transition to that kind of headspace, it completely changes your reality. Yeah. How did you make that transition?
Well, I would first add to that, beyond the headspace. I feel that, I mean, the mental game, the mindset game was my first step in the spiritual path. Mm-hmm. I went from being, a personal trainer, nutrition, fitness expert on TV when I allowed myself to receive more and be more, but I dove into the mindset. That was like the first step. At one point I realized the mindset is kind of like just playing the mental game, because we have all these aspects of ourselves we come to healing with, like the ego, etc. I feel like just using the mind is kind of like just using your pinky finger. It's like, if out of all of your capacity, you're like, like, I mean, there's some things you can do with this.
Me, not so much. I've actually had an operation on this finger. Okay. My pinky doesn't work, so I need to get out of the mindset.
Fucked. You are fucked. There's little capacity, right?
Yeah.
And when we go beyond the mind, even to go from this headspace, because a thought, it actually, compared to the cells in the body, the feeling centers, they're 500,000 times more powerful than a thought. So just tapping into the mental game, I feel like is like baby steps for us. It's like, and yet that's what most self-empowerment focuses on. So I feel like that's a lot of surface self-empowerment, which is beautiful and great, and it's a start. It definitely was a start for me. And the next space is, how do I receive that in my body? How can I embody? I'm here to embody both my human and my mystical, all parts of me. So to be embodied with that. What was your question?
I can't even remember. I just got lost. I got lost in the trance. I was so caught in the moment, Marci. I was just like, yeah.
Right when you said, when we shift the headspace, I'm like, well, actually,
fuck headspace.
That's just an inkling of it. Let's go deeper. And then you asked me something, and we're here.
We're back. But you just reminded me. So we were talking about, how did you transition from seeing bad things in your life to from actually being bad at all to being good? But before we get to that, I kind of want to move to the embodiment piece.
Yeah.
Because I think so
I'll
many
go
people.
wherever you want to go, Joe.
Fantastic. That's good to know.
We'll just play.
We're going to be naked dancing around the room by the end of this podcast.
That happens.
It happens, if that's what it calls for. So the embodiment piece, this is something I've obviously been working on and delving deep into recently. What does that look like and what does that mean to you? How would you explain that to people that have absolutely no understanding what it means to embody the experience that we're having right now?
Beautiful question. Thank you for that. Embodiment is integrity with your highest self or whatever you're choosing to embody. So it's just like alignment. A lot of people like they're so focused on what to do to come into alignment with like the vibration, the manifestation of what they want. And it's actually, you're already in alignment with whatever you're receiving because results don't lie. You're already committed to whatever you're receiving, even if you're unconsciously committed. That's what you're experiencing, right? So embodiment, if we take ourselves out of the human experience or the perceptions of the programs of the human, and we kind of allow ourselves to witness from a divine state, like who we're here to be. I like to say that in full integrity with my divinity, if I'm embodying my divinity, I couldn't ever say anything bad about myself. I couldn't think anything bad about myself or any other being, right? Like that's the highest alignment that we are, where it's like, I'm just here in fucking bliss and love. I see and honor all beings and all experiences in their divine birthright as to experiencing whatever they want to experience. I'm not attached to your experience. I love you no matter what. I'm unconditionally here loving, right? And so embodiment of unconditional love would be to operate from a state of fifth dimensional consciousness and above, which is like my thoughts. I can see it through love. I can hear it through love. I can speak through love. I can choose. The other day who was I speaking to? And they were sharing with me a story of, I think it was Osho. And how Osho, one of his dear friends that was like a rishi, he was tortured for 13 years in this Chinese prison. And when he got released and he asked his friend, he said, "Where did you go, my friend? Where did you go when you were being tortured?" And he said, "I was praying for their liberation." Like, so in that space, they could have easily been like, you know, that was wrong, they did this to me, etc. But in our true divinity, when we're in the highest embodiment of that, it's actually to see and experience all things perfectly as is in divine order, because we are in co-creation with the divine in the universe, right? So let's bring it back to like human terms, right? I like to make the complex. I see it all and like, let's bring it down here. I
like that. You were
like, I saw you glaze over. Where did we go?
I don't
remember what I just asked her. So we're bringing it in. So if I choose to live in a space of, my worth, embody my self-worth, what does that look like? Does that mean I embody that I have clear conscious communication? I can ask for what I want. So that's a level of my embodiment. I'm going to practice speaking what I think and feel, knowing that I have a right to create whatever I want, to create specific boundaries, right? So that's just an aspect of me embodying my worth. If I am going to, again, who am I going to work with? Clients I'm going to work with. You know that I've worked with clients at over $1 million level. That was a level of aligning to a level of worth to say, I embody that I trust and honor myself, my energy, my time, etc. So there's these layers of aspects of what we want to embody that's like each one allows us. That's why I say when we're living in this moment, it's like life goes, ooh, this person asked me to do this and ooh, it doesn't really feel good. But if we go, well, maybe I'll do that, then what are we embodying? We're embodying an unconscious commitment, really, or a reflection of, I am not of value. I don't value myself. I don't value my time. So embodiment is just what you're living. And I actually see this as when I teach a pathway to manifestation or a pathway to alignment, and embodiment is the last piece. It's like once we've seen all the things that are there, alchemized it, then we're integrating it. Now we're practicing. So if I'm going to embody my worth, or I'm going to embody unconditional love, or I'm going to embody joy, I'm going to embody bliss, what does that look like in my life? That means every aspect of what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing perception-wise, what I'm speaking, what I'm feeling is in alignment to embody that frequency.
Okay, I love that. Full circle. Much appreciated. You brought us back down. So what does that process look like? Because so many of the things that you're talking about clearly operate in the subconscious. And this must be the biggest part of your work, for sure, is taking people out of those subconscious realms, working out what is going on, and then pulling it into reality. How do you start that process for people? I hope you guys are enjoying this episode of the Platinum Podcast, brought to you by Platinum University, the real life school of mindset, online business, and financial independence. Platinum University teaches you everything conventional education didn't.
we're helping thousands of people create multiple passive income streams that create more money, time, and freedom. We literally guide you through every step of the process with the help of our in-house experts and our powerful, like-minded community groups. To get 35% off your monthly subscription and permanently lock in the discounted price of $39.99 and also get access to all of our mindset, Forex, dropshipping, stocks, crypto, network marketing, and Airbnb content, visit the link in the description to join.
Kind of both, all. Because we're all things, right? Like we get to learn to operate with our unconscious, like what's happening in the subconscious, and bring it in also, and learn to operate in the present, in this moment, living in this moment. I can only be here in creation that is happening in this moment when I'm choosing to be here with you, right? And I'm in this moment. So that's how creation happens. Creation is happening in this moment based on what we're thinking, what we're feeling, etc. We're always, how we choose to respond is what we get next. Yet most people are in their head trying to figure it out, and they're actually not witnessing what's here. So there's two ways that I say that I really teach to allow us to just fucking quantum leap our lives. One is being proactive, which is like what you're saying. You're like, all right, well, let me tune in. Like, what are my relationships? What are my, what is my relationship to the relationship of money? What is my, relationship to these aspects of my life? And how do I lean in and go, that obviously isn't what I want to be experiencing, or that's not what I want to create. So we're being proactive. The other is to live presently. Meaning in this moment. So most people are always like, oh, how do I figure out my purpose? Like, what do I do? And I'm like, you are your fucking purpose. I'm gonna whisper that in the mic.
Little secret.
You are. It's not a secret. I'm bringing it out. You are your purpose. Every single fucking moment on your life path is the path of your evolution. And as you know, Joe, from your story that I've heard and is so beautiful and you've shared so many times, is like, you say now, it all was for my greatest good. So in that moment, whatever wasn't working, the resistance was showing you what you got to heal, which was all connected to what's inside, right? What we've stored, et cetera, what we've believed, et cetera. And then as you found your way through that, your mess became your message. And you are now this like, I'm the fucking Platinum University guru.
Let's steer away from the word guru, okay?
Well,
my friends are already calling me a cult leader, all right? We don't need that.
Well, and I actually, like, what I actually teach is that everyone is their own healer and guru.
Yeah.
But you are yours. You had to become your own teacher and your own healer to live this life. Now you're exemplifying and embodying certain aspects of like freedom and liberation, et cetera, for people. So, so the journey of that, I am going to bring it back. The journey of that, I feel, is first, when we make it really simple, if our divine natural birthright, if we even go, even if that's not what people have experienced, it's like, if I'm born and I am so fucking unique, I have my own fingerprints, my own toe prints, my own voice box. Even if you're a twin, you had your own perfect experience, right? You have your own memories, your own experiences, all your own gifts, your own abilities, all this, right? So we're all fucking different, right? And yet we're in this society where we're taught that we should be the same and we should compare ourselves, which is cray, but it's all available. And so if we're that unique and that amazing, that different, and we're divinity, and we think about, okay, so if I'm divinity and I come here in this space from this, then my divine birthright is I'm this much of a powerful creator, I can experience whatever I want. So if we're experiencing shit, we can just look to my divine natural birthright gets to be that I'm living in flow and bliss and ease. So how do I align to that? Is that in this moment, I can be aware of, like, say for instance, I walk in the room and I'm like, oh my God, I've noticed I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And I can tune into, like, lean into, like, ooh, what's this uncomfortableness about? Like, where do I feel in my body? So there's all sorts of things I go through, but it's first thing we do is awareness. Like, what is not at peace? What are we not comfortable with? And wherever we're uncomfortable is where we get to go, because then we're expanding our capacity. If I can be, go from a place of, my background in history was absolutely terrified of being seen or heard or having a voice. Can you imagine?
Not really, Marci. It's a little bit of a hard one to conceptualize right now.
That was my programming, right? Stalkers, rape victims, kidnappers, born and raised super poor, all the things, right? And it was so much trauma that when they did a documentary of my life, they were like, this is too much trauma. Like, no one's going to believe this. So coming from that to being in a place where I can walk in a room and I can choose to remember, no, like, what I share is of value. What you share is of value. We're all here of value. There's my journey of awareness of what beliefs I have, what stories, ideas, attachments, expectations I have. So the pathway that I teach is awareness is the first step. As we become aware, now we can be proactive and lean into it and go, okay, my relationship, shit, let me get clear. Let me lean into what's my relationship. Well, if I think relationships are shitty and hard, well, no wonder, there's my programming right there, right? And I get to lean into that. And in this moment, if I walk into a room, like I said, and I notice I feel guarded, oh, because I feel unsafe, or like, that's actually showing me right in this moment what's playing out, what belief is there. And we can, so as we lean into awareness and discover these things, I teach tools on alchemy, Alchemists, right? We get to alchemize anything that is lower vibrational, heavy density, heavy energy that's stuck in our bodies and our systems, is also ideas, thoughts, etc., perceptions that are lower density. They're only going to get us something we don't want. How to alchemize those to become what we actually want to experience. So once we alchemize them, then we're practicing. We're just playing. And this whole thing is fucking play anyways. It's just a big fucking game. So we're just playing in our awareness, like little kids in a game, right? The big fucking cosmic game. Then we're playing in our alchemy with it. Then we go, ooh, cool. So how am I gonna practice playing and integrating this? So I'm gonna practice communication tools or the beliefs and the different things that allow me then to go into, as I'm practicing this, I become it. I become the embodiment of living in that place. So I actually have a 5-step tool. I'm happy to give it to you because it's something we give away for people to access. It was downloaded.
We're getting that value now. We're getting the value. Yeah. Come on, Marci, give me the 5-step tool to sort my life out. We all want it.
Yeah, the 5 steps was actually given to me from, I mean, if you want to talk about what I do now too, I channel lots of aliens and lots of cosmic beings. And,
yes, we're on aliens already. Yes.
Angels, ascended masters, etc. Do you want this one? I have my beautiful one.
Yeah.
See, like that?
Beautiful.
Ease and grace, always available. Everything's within arm's reach. That's one of my mantras.
I manifested this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marci, for making this up.
Mine's a little upgraded. You can drink out of mine if you want to.
I see. So now I've got to compare my water bottle to your water bottle.
I'm just saying I'd love to share.
We're unique, Marci, but my water bottle is looking quite insignificant compared to yours right now.
I'd love to share with you, my love. Yeah. So when I was, I got to heal myself from breast cancer, I had a download with angels that literally kind of gave me this guidance of stepping through what I was unconsciously creating and experiencing to be able to then consciously see it and take action on it. That's all my 5 steps really are. And something that we give, I mean, it's everything from my $1 million clients to people in my online programs. It was like, start with this. This is the home base. So you learn to become present to what's actually happening. Because most of the time, if you look at even our, how you wake up today, right? Like describe, like when you wake up, Joe, what's the environment? What's the first thing you think?
It depends. If I've slept well, then I'm really excited to get busy with my morning routine. But that horrible first thought comes in, I'm tired, didn't sleep enough, need a little bit more. I hate it when that one happens. That's probably often my first thought.
So beautiful. You notice we're conditioned and we're programmed from all the years that we've been this identity. So you wake up and you go, I'm Joe. It's like, first, I'm like, where am I? What time frame am I in? What's happening? I astral travel and do all sorts of things. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Okay. And this is why we have routines, right? I have a wake up today activation people can play, and I play myself. I love it. It's my favorite, where it literally starts walking you through coding your reality and the day and what's going to happen and coming into like what you really want to create. Yet most people, they're going to wake up and they're go, oh, I'm Joe.
I don't think everyone's waking up thinking I'm Joe.
Okay, we're using an example. If I was to wake up being Joe, I'd be like, I'm Joe, right? But most people wake up and they're like, I'm so-and-so. Oh, this is my identity. This is my problems, my patterns, my behaviors. And I experience that kind of life where it's like, oh, this is what I got to do today, right? And so they're literally biologically reprogramming their system. I'm this person, I'm this identity, I have these problems, I have this past life experience, I have all these things, and it's reprogrammed in our system. Then just in your room, you wake up and we have this, the normal thoughts that might happen, right? Go into the bathroom, the normal thoughts that might happen. Go into the kitchen, the normal thoughts that might happen. And so it's like we've coded unconsciously our environment, and we're just playing out in the same role. Now, let's say you go to a job and they have these feelings about their boss or people that they work with. Every single time they see them, they're reprogramming, what if the boss doesn't like me? And oh shit, what about this? And it's like this is the unconscious environmental programming that's happening. So again, when we can lean in, we can actually start to recode from the moment we wake up what we're going to experience in our day, and then start to look at like, ooh, what are the thoughts and the different things that happen when I even enter into this room? Like, that's how micro aligned we get. My fucking genius is micro alignment. That's why I heard the moment you said your mind, I was like, there's some more. Because it's the micro tweaks that create the massive transformation. It's like a plane that's always just, to get to the destination. It's not, but most people start their self-empowerment journey or their spiritual journey and they're like, I'm looking at the top of the fucking mountain. I was a $2 an hour waitress after finding out I had a cheating husband. I was raised in an extremely strict religious environment. You could call that cultish. And my boys were 1 and 4 years old when I found out my former, I call him former again, and even like that even word doesn't really resonate for me now. See, but if I said my ex, literally the words I'm speaking, I'm putting out a frequency, I'm focusing where attention goes, right? Energy happens. And so even as I do that, I'm putting something negative. Instead, I'm like, I fucking love that man for the beautiful gift we had. My point of all this is that going from like a $2 an hour waitress, you know, and having that life experience, it was when I chose to shift it to completely have, like that life no longer sounded good to me. That life no longer was something that I was interested in. I got to choose to shift to have something different. So now to live the life that I do, it's just a matter of like us playing in a playground of recoding, really. Yeah.
Okay, that's an amazing point to touch on, because everybody that's listening to this, everyone that's a member of Platinum University, they're currently in a place where they completely want to change their lives.
Yeah.
They don't like where they're at. They don't like where they're going. Their reality sucks to them.
Yeah.
And they're completely unaware. They're missing that. Before Platinum University, they were completely unaware that there was even a different way of living.
Yes.
Our job is to kind of show people there is a different way of living and just bring that into their field. Once that level of awareness is there, how do they start transitioning to the headspace that you're talking about there, where you start going from being a $2 an hour waitress, you don't like where you're at, and then consciously making the decision, okay, fuck this, I'm doing something new now.
Yeah.
That's the step I'm always really interested in. I just want to give that to people.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that question. And it really is, because energy is all things. Energy and vibration is everything, right? So everything that this is a piece around alignment to stepping into something different, is that everything inside of us is what's reflecting outside of us. You know this. Yet there's a much deeper level that
Dumb it down. Make it real simple.
Most of the time they don't just really connect to and get. It's like, I can only experience fear if I have fear inside me. So a situation shows up that's triggering the energy that I already have for me to face the fear that I have. Same thing with anger, and this is why most of the time what we've learned to do is suppress and repress emotions, or project or deny or avoid, right? So there's this layers and lifetimes of all this energy inside us. That's what we're experiencing as our reality. Now, like where you're talking about, I didn't even know that any other type of life could have existed other than struggle and sacrifice and survive. I grew up on a farm. We had to grow our own food to survive. Like I said, there's no way I had a voice or be seen or be heard. All the things that I went through, it was like I was taught from a young age, life is here to test you. Like it's here for trials. Like I was taught, like, you're here for tests, you're here to struggle, you're here to sacrifice. If you survive, you'll get a mansion in heaven. That was the religious beliefs that I was basically raised on, right?
That doesn't sound too appealing.
It wasn't fun at all. I mean, and I mean, it proved. I mean, so what I believed, what I was being taught, is what I then reflected in the environment and experienced. It was already in my system. So I had stalkers, rape attempts, kidnappers, I had sicknesses and diseases like no other, all the way up until I healed myself of breast cancer. That's when I had the angels give me that download of the 5 steps, which really started to shift. And so I was, even at 17 years old, I remember being like, fuck, there's gotta be a better way. Like my dad had passed away at 15. I was working 3 jobs just to help pay my mom's rent, and it was just survive. I had a heart attack at 19 because my body was burnt out and so done. Like, you know, it was just failing. Like no sleep. I stopped sleeping when I was really young out of fear of even being attacked when I was asleep. And so in that place, I started with like the surface self-empowerment. I was like, I started watching The Secret and, you know, Think and Grow Rich, and started studying books. And I was working like 3 jobs at the hospital, and I remember being like, there's got to be a better way, and just starting to put it out there. Like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something else I can do, because I knew I was just like on my way downhill. Like I was going to die off soon, like already having a heart attack at 19 years old, you know? And I ended up finding this ad in a newspaper that was like an ad for, some sort of network marketing. But as I leaned into that and I jumped into that kind of took me to the next stage, and that took me to the next stage. My point is, like, when I found myself again, this is what I feel like life will finally do, is it's gonna bitch slap you until you pay attention. Like, see, when we're living presently, we have each moment is telling us and giving us awareness. When we start to feel what's happening in our bodies, when we start to work through our consciousness and upgrade our consciousness, we can make decisions, we can see things, and we can move. You know, when we ignore that, just like I'm sure you experienced in the past, all we know is struggle. So we just keep struggling. life just keeps bringing it until it's like, I'm going to let you pay attention. And so I say pain is pay attention inside now. It's like, pay attention inside now. So when I was at that point where I was a $2 an hour waitress, I had found out I had a cheating husband, got divorced, 1 and a 4-year-old to feed. I paid a friend to sleep on my couch at night, to be able to go be a waitress at night. And I was like, hustle, hustle, hustle. That's all I knew. Hustle, 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 work hard, prove myself. And this is when we say that we want something different, the first thing I want people to recognize is like having this vision of what else is possible. It wasn't very big for me. It was like paying the bills. It was like, how am I gonna pay the bills, right? And when I actually saw an advertisement for this event that was like moms living their purpose. Now I knew I wasn't living my purpose, and everything in me told me I had to go. And from that experience, that one event, I heard all these moms talking about letting go of stories that it had to be a certain way to be a mom and they could do what they wanted to do. Now for the event this guy was gonna do to be able to learn more was $500. And I had $10 to my name. I was a $2 an hour waitress, right? Like, and everything in me was like, I knew I didn't, whatever I was experiencing was all that I knew at the time, right? I had to learn how to do something different. So again, I was like, well, what would be possible? How could I create this? How could I do this? And I went up to him, I'm like, do you guys take payments? How can I make this happen? And I set out the intention, all right, I get to create $500 to go to this event. And I was like, what are all the ways that I can do that? I was a waitress. I would literally, like, I don't know if you know, like the restaurant Olive Garden, it was, it's in different places in the States. Anyways, they wear these white, long, like button-up man shirts with a tie. And I had been a personal trainer, you know, and gone through my journey with that. And so I'm literally going to these tables and I'm like side selling them my whole truth about weight loss DVDs that I created. And I'm telling them that how much, you know, fat is in the garlic bread and the garlic sticks. And they're like, wow, you got some guns under there. And I'm like, yeah. And so I'd start leading into this. And I just was like, how can I make every little penny to do this? And I started even envisioning that I was going to make $130 a night in tips. It was like $20 a night in tips was normal. So I just kind of like, I'm gonna make $130 a night in tips. And what happened was the miraculous, the universe responded. Like literally there's people that, you know, their meal was $30 and they left me a $60 tip. And, you know, like, and people were like, oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to buy your DVDs. And I was selling them to my employees and all these things I was doing. And I just was like, hey, I'm receiving this money. I'm stepping forward. I'm doing this. I choose to do this. I'm taking a leap forward. So what we see is that the actions that we take, the thoughts, the words, the beliefs all have to be in alignment to what we want. And so most of the time in surface self-empowerment, people are like, they're taught, let me say affirmations. And I'm thinking this, oh, I'm so excited to receive money and I'm worthy of money and all these things. And yet their body's like, you are fucking not, right? And like, it's just like shedding weight or whatever. It's like, I'm 6-pack abs. And they're like, you are fucking not 6-pack abs. Remember all those times you failed in this? And it's actually only reaffirming the limiting. So there's these steps that I teach where we get to come into alignment with it. But the first thing is just a fucking leap. I really believe there's it is a choice to step towards where we want to go. So with my 5 steps, I teach people, it's like the first step is awareness. We're like, what am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling frustrated. We can look in our body. I'm feeling it in my chest. That means I'm sad. That leads us to, oh, well, why am I feeling this way? Oh, because I notice I'm just really scared that this isn't going to work. And so when we work through these, we come to like, what do I want? And I call this like calling yourself on your own bullshit. Like if it's like, what do I want? If what I want is I want to have a different life experience, if I keep going, well, I can't go to this seminar because I'm a $2 an hour waitress and I have kids to feed and what's everybody think, and I should just pay my bills and focus on that, I'm just reaffirming the life I'm already experiencing from what I believe. How I choose to respond is what I get next. So I get to, okay, thank you. I can witness all that stuff, that there's those fears, etc. And you know, there's an alchemy process to this, but it's like to then come to, well, what I really want is I want to do more of what I love. I want to have a different life experience. So what would new belief and perception get to be? And that, you know, and so as we shift, it might be that, you know, I'm going to fail. It's like, what if I'm so excited to see what we create. I'm so excited to see, and this is why we're playing games. We're taking what's fearful and what's scary. We're coming into acceptance and healing with that. But it's like, now what's available? I'm just here to play a fucking game. So, you know, and then we come into, how does this get to be fun and easy? Taking the action. So for me, it was, okay, I'm gonna make really good friends and I'm gonna, you know, do the best I can to make tips. And I literally made $499 right in time to be able to pay the $500. I found another $1.
I'm sure you can find $1 if you can make the $499 pop out.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and so it's like I went to that seminar. From that seminar, this was the first coach I actually hired. It was $15,000 to work with this coach. Now, still, again, I'm the $2 an hour waitress. I just went through this weekend experience and was like, I really saw, holy fuck, I don't know anything different than the construct of consciousness I've been living out of. So I love and appreciate individuals like yourself. I know I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't start to see even there was different possibilities available from other people that have been through the journey. And I was like, all right, like if I know, and I believe in the law of parallel returns, which is whatever we put energy and focus on, we get back. If you go to the gym and you lift weights and you take care of your body, you get energy back in your body. If we invest in ourselves, we are the greatest asset that we ever have. The highest investment we have is ourselves. If we invest in ourselves, our time, effort, energy, it comes back. So I actually found a way, again, at that $2 an hour waitressing job, I found a way to create first payment and was like, cool, what do I get to do? Learn all these things for this $15,000 coach. And long story to that is within like 30 to 60 days, I had $15,000 in hand when I ran my first program. That was just like the deposit I got down. I became the $1 million coach and mentor. You know, now I travel the world doing whatever the fuck I want, transcended money altogether. But if I lived in the story of, you know, like I can't because or not until, this is the unconscious someday story that people are playing. It's like, well, when this happens, then I can. But that's in what we've been taught, which is when I have that, then I'll do that. Then I'll be that person. Then I'll be happy. Then I'll go on vacation with my family. Then I'll do what I love. You know, once I have more knowledge, I even get my website up, then I can do this. That's all bullshit. Because if you're not moving towards what you want in some way, you're in a validation story or excuse as to why you can't have it. So the actual way creation happens is I get to be the vibration. Then I get to do the things that person does in that vibration to have that as my result. So I really believe it is taking a step of trust and faith, learning to put your attention towards what you want, and anything else. This is the difference though between surface bypassing, you know, spiritual bypassing bullshit and going in is people like, oh, I want to ignore that I'm having these thoughts. I'm just going to focus over here. That's actually ignoring everything that wants to be cleaned up to allow the vibration to be clean for you to go here. So it's actually coming into what do we get to heal that I can believe this new thought. So I can believe that, yeah, like I'm better every day. Like I can believe that, but if I'm like, I'm a fucking millionaire, and they're like, no, you're not fucking a millionaire. You're not even like worthy of like paying your bills. We get to align those things, and those pieces are just all parts of our healing and our journey to come into a higher vibration. So we're really just alchemizing every aspect in our life to come to a high vibration.
What does that healing process look like? This is the fun bit. This is what I like, because the healing thing requires diving in, like you said before. You have to have some serious courage to go into those spaces in the first place. How did you first start really healing those parts of yourself? One, how did you get the courage to do it when you're in such a space of despair? And secondly, how do you then dive into that?
Yeah, well, I feel like the way that we make it not so scary, because yes, it takes courage, right? And that's why most people don't do it, because they have a story, an idea that change is hard. It's gonna hurt, it's gonna be painful. Well, fucking living in your comfort zone is what's hard and painful, and creating that. And so I like, again, alchemizing all things. It's really like when you look at your life experience now, Joe, as the life experience that you've had, you're at total peace with all the shit that you went through, right? You're like, that was for my greatest good, right?
I loved it, it's great.
And in time that shows. So, but in the experience, when people don't see the light, the beauty that it is, it's like, fuck, this is fucking crazy. So what I love bringing to the light is when we see any story that's creating suffering for us, we're creating our own suffering. So even that story, even to say, guys, this is gonna be fucking hard. You know, you gotta lean in. It takes a lot of courage. Instead, when we start to play, we go like, we bring softness to it. So I have pre-steps to the 5 steps. We'll kind of give an example of this. The pre-steps of 5 steps, the moment I notice I'm triggered, or I want to go into a pattern or behavior or something I don't like, or I'm not experiencing the life I want to be experiencing, meaning if I'm not enjoy, peace, happiness, bliss, etc., the moment I feel maybe like pain, or I feel something in my heart, or I notice any kind of guard off or anything, go, ooh, interesting. And so I start to breathe, because the fastest way to move energy is breath, sound, and movement. So I start to breathe, and so I just kind of, okay, interesting. And when I was back in that place where everything felt fucking hard and triggering, it was reprogramming myself that whatever showed up was perfect. So I would say, interesting, to open myself up to curiosity. Interesting, okay, this is happening. If I deny what's happening and I run away from it, I'm not going to go anywhere. But when I can breathe and go, interesting, all right, like this is perfect. If I'm experiencing my sadness, I'm doing it perfectly. If I'm experiencing my anger, I'm doing it perfectly. There is no thing other than perfection. And that is actually, I used to be like, there's no such thing as perfection, it's progression, right? What I realized is that was a story. I'm actually fucking divinity. In this moment, I'm perfect always, no matter what I'm experiencing, even if it's shit. I'm perfectly experiencing my shit. And that is also teaching me whatever I require to know, right? So I feel like when we get a home base or context or understanding, this raises our consciousness to go, oh, so if I'm gonna stay down here at this level of consciousness, be like, all right, this is gonna be fucking hard. I've gotta change my life. I'm being the warrior. I lived in the warrior world too. I know you did as well. I was actually the only female that was ever accepted into this men's warrior program, this very famous men's warrior program, because I was a fucking warrior. I learned how to work hard from the time I was little. I had to survive. And I remember having the day when I realized I don't want to be the fucking warrior anymore. I'm so fucking tired of being in the battleground. Like, I was like, let me evolve to being the enlightened empress on the hill that like people are bringing me my grapes and things, and let other people play in the fight if they want to play in the fight. But the fight is every single thought we think is either creating our suffering or it's being our best ally. The words we're speaking are encoding our reality. They're all energy. So if I say, okay, this is going to be hard, I'm literally in my system setting up the process for it to be hard. So when I go, guys, guess what? We're just playing a fucking game. We're just the 3-year-old playing a game. And so let's breathe. And let's, okay, interesting, this is here. Interesting, what am I feeling from this? And it's like we're softening into allowance and honoring and acceptance of what's here. Because if I fight it, anytime I do this at all, and this is where it's so unconscious for people, if I say, I don't agree with those people. Notice my body language is even like, I don't agree with those people. I don't agree with that way of life. We're literally pushing energy and we're creating a block, which is blocking us from the infinite possibilities to receive. So ultimately, in the bigger picture of this, if there's any aspect of our life that we're not at peace with, that we're not in complete neutrality with, I can honor and see you, living your life in that way, and that's perfect. I can also choose what works for me. I have no attachment to you having to live it like me or me like you, etc. I just honor you, right? And so when we come to peace with that, our vibration is open to receive. So even in the vibration of like, I'm going to, this is going to have to be this process, we're literally blocking all the ways it can be easy, all the ways it can be fun and play and joy. So coming back to the consciousness of our divinity is, if I'm fucking magic, because I am and you are, right? It's like I speak and I'm literally putting energy into the field, and I'm then with that energy attracting things to that energy. What I feel, what I think, what I look for. I know that whatever I look for, I find. Whatever I look for, I find. I can look at you and be like, you're fucking the best thing ever, right? And I can also look at you and have a completely different thought experience. I know I've got plenty of haters too. People are like, she's too much, and that's okay. I'm just reflecting what's too much within yourself. So it's like, I did a whole podcast on that one.
That's going to sting for a few people.
And it's beautiful to actually breathe and witness and go, oh, whatever I'm seeing in life is what I have yet to heal and love within myself that I'm not at peace with. So to move forward into that, instead of saying this is bad and wrong, like even the stinging, it doesn't have to be bad or wrong. It's like, ooh, that's feedback. Do I judge other people? Do I have resistance to other people? Do I block it? Wow, let's clear the bullshit then. That means I'm blocking myself from receiving. I'm blocking myself from more connections, more love, more abundance, because I'm saying, oh no, it's like playing this puzzle game. It's like, no, it can. And this is the thing in business. People are like, oh, it's got to come this way. I'm going to do it this way. It's going to happen this way. And we literally have blinders on to all the infinite possibilities. So when we can accept and receive what's in front of us with life, it's like, this is showing us what's here. I'll give you a quick example and I'll bring it back to this. So one day, all of a sudden I had this thought of, it was like, message this person. And I was like, interesting, why would I message this person? This person like was in my programs forever ago. And instead of me being like, why would I call them? What am I gonna say? What's this about? I just like had this strong intuition to message this person. So I messaged this person. I'm like, hey, you came up in my thoughts. That's what's true. Came up in my thoughts, came to my mind, and I just felt called to reach out to you and see how you're doing. They literally messaged me back and said, anyways, in our interaction, we were led to a multi-million-dollar deal. That was a whole other, because what I had done is I had meditated on what would be of the highest, greatest service in my ease and joy. Like, what's the most nourishing for my soul that's of the highest, greatest service? And so a lot of people, when they want to make money, they're running instead of stopping and contemplating what's the highest, greatest way that they can make money. So I literally meditate on this. This is when this thought came up. I messaged a girl. We find out that she's running these home health programs for huge corporations. I, at the time, had my mind body breakthrough program, etc. And we literally implemented into businesses and as a corporation and created a whole other stream of $1 million income, right? And it was from me asking and me following the guidance. But see, in the structural world of the masculine and like the way that we're trained to do business and everything else, it's like go, run, 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 do. And we actually have left and forgotten the softness, the surrender, the flow, the ease, let me follow the energy. So, I mean, I'm putting that out there that people go, oh, that's what's available. That's more money, more abundance, more love, more joy is available when I stop with the hardship game and I can go, okay, what's here in front of me? Let me soften into this. So if I soften into, whatever I'm experiencing is the trigger, like I said, and I go, what am I feeling? I'm feeling sadness. Why am I feeling sad? So my step 2 is why. Like I'm feeling sad because that person said that and I felt rejected. I felt like I'm not enough. And so we can then lean into whatever story is there. This is what's beautiful. You find the story that's there that, people should like me. So I do an example. This is a great example in my book. I share like with they're not little anymore. My oldest is turning 18 today. I know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sky Guy, super Sky Guy. When he was little, I shared this story in my book and I think it's a good example of when he got into the car and I noticed his energy was off. And we were always like, I always with my boys like, what was great about today? So we're celebrating, we're looking for what's great about life and celebrating life. And I just noticed his energy was off and I was like, babes, what's, you okay? What's going on? And the normal thing we learn to do is shut it down, right? And he's like, it's okay, I'm fine, I'm good, right? And I was like, a mom could have been like, well, he's just tired, he had a long day. But I could feel his energy was not good, right? And so I, just by learning to ask questions, this is how we talk to ourselves as talking to ourselves like we're a 3-year-old. As I was like, babes, what's going on in your head? What's the thoughts happening in your head right now? And he instantly starts to cry and tells me that he was in painting class, he was painting, and this girl comes up to him and says his painting is stupid. And now he feels stupid, his paintings are stupid, like it brings up all these things, right? Yeah, right. And this is the thing. So I was like, oh, thank you, sweetheart, for letting me know how you're feeling. I can understand that must feel hurtful and painful. What are you feeling? You're feeling sad. And I'm letting him express what he's feeling. So I'm feeling sad. This is why. Let the ego mind play, because this happened and that happened. It means this, and our stories come up, right? And so as he goes through his stories, I'm like, all right, do you want to, what would you like to create? Do you want to have a different experience? Could we maybe look at this and talk about this a little bit deeper? And so I start asking him questions I said, now, do you and your brother like different things? Yeah. Is it okay that you have an opinion and your brother has an opinion, that he likes something different? Yeah. So, is it great that he is really good at certain things and likes certain things and you like other things? Yeah. So, and as I'm just breaking this down for him, I'm like, so, is it okay that this girl has a different opinion? Is it okay that this girl doesn't like your painting? Well, yeah. I'm like, what do you paint? Do you like to paint, or are you painting for other people? And he's like, I like to paint. I have fun painting. It's like, all right, so you like to paint. And do you like your paintings? Yeah, I like my painting. So does it really matter that this girl likes your painting or not? If it's okay that we're all different, we all have different opinions, and we're just breaking down the story. We're breaking down the thoughts he's having. We're looking at the emotions. It's okay that you feel sad. I can understand how you feel that way, but what's really true? And so we come to the truth is, he's like, I paint for me. I like to paint for me. I'm gonna paint because I like to paint. Yes, she cannot like my paintings. That's okay, I like to paint. And now I'm like, awesome, babes. So what do you wanna create now? And we turn on some music and we jam it out. So in that moment, we alchemized the stories, the thoughts, the feelings. We came to the truth and the reality. We let go of the story that it had to be a certain way, that everybody in the world has to like us. It's like, hey, we're all different. That's okay. We're doing this for you. You are the purpose. You get to do what makes you feel joyful. And that's our divine birthright. But we alchemize in that little moment that then we can go on and create an awesome day. And now we're back to our joy, right? If we don't address that, if I was just a mom that's like, oh, he's probably just tired, and we learn to suppress our emotions, he now takes on a story. I'm stupid. I can't express myself. I can't show my talents. People don't like me. And that becomes part of our imprinting that we're living and working with. So there's, in the 5 steps, it's what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that way? And we can, in the what am I feeling, you also can tune into your body. Why am I feeling that way? And we come to, what do I really want? If I really want to share my message, if I really want a great, amazing, connected relationship, if I really want to get on stage, it's like, then I get to start to look at the stories, like what is really true, what's really not true. Where is this coming from? What's underneath? You did this in the Tantra stuff. It's like, what's underneath that? What's underneath what? What's underneath that? Oh my God, this idea up here is led me to a story when I was 4 years old, and I took on a decision that, it's not safe for me to be seen. And as we're like, well, what's really true is, so when I started doing TV, I had an experience come up with my ankle. I went to get up out of bed the next day after I got offered TV, national TV, and my foot didn't work. I just went to bed. Nothing, I didn't do anything. I wasn't doing anything crazy. And I got up and my right foot didn't work. And I instantly went back to like, oh my God, I got to see a chiropractor because I run my 90-day mind body transformation programs. How am I going to feed my kids, etc. And it was when in my learning phase that I didn't go first thing to the motion. And as I went to the motion and I went inside, my little girl was fucking scared. She was like, you are not going on TV. We're going to be attacked. We're going to be abused. We're going to be attacked. We're going to be abandoned. We're going to die. Like all these things were linked to like death. And as I alchemized the story, it was like, oh, sweetheart, thank you for letting me know what you're feeling and thinking. This is what we used to think we had to do to stay safe, was to stay hidden. What's really true is when we're actually in the light and seen, the more people, it's how we attract our friends, it's how we attract the people that we're here to work with, it's how we share our message. That's actually where we're the most safe. So I had to start, we reprogram, this is the new contract. Like this is how we stay safe. We actually are the happiest when we're seen. We're the happiest when we're the most connected, we have the most friends, etc. And it's like, okay, so now that that's my new belief and perception, see where I'm going? What am I feeling? Why? What do I really want? If I want to share my message on TV, I get to look at this and lean into all these stories. This is actually my new belief and perception. I'm the most safe when I'm seen. I'm safe to be seen. I'm safe to be heard. I'm safe to share my value. Now, what's the action I'm going to take? And how does it get to be fun and easy? Because we're bringing it out of a higher vibration. So it's really a step by step of just taking it a moment at a time. And as we alchemize these stories, as you know, Joe, you don't respond to the same old shit that you used to do in the past. It's like, you've done it so many times, you're like, if it pops up, you're like, oh, that was from the past, my love. This is actually what's true. And you're integrating and embodying something different. So it's really just a game of alchemy and play.
I fucking love that. I love
Were you going to throw that to me? I was like, what's going to happen?
Yes. I love both of those examples because it just, the example of the child is so fitting because we're all still that same little kid. Yep. We are still in exactly the same place as your son was in that moment. We just don't realize it. We think we're so much more complex than what's going on there.
We haven't upgraded the conversation with our inner child, right? Yeah,
pretty much.
Consciousness. Yeah.
That's why we talk about inner child, right? Because we still are that little kid. Yeah. Everybody kind of has this idea that, I can't be influenced in such a way. It's like, yeah, but how were you influenced when you were that child?
Mm-hmm. Right. That's what you're living out right now. That's what you're playing out.
Yeah, those are the stories that we have. Those are the meanings that we've attached to everything that's going on in our lives. And I think when you break it down like that for people, it makes it so easy to digest.
See, that's it. It's easy. I love that you caught that. It's like, it's much easier to go, I always say, inch by inch, life is a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard. So if I can just look at this thought, is it expansive? Is it gonna give me more of what I want, or is it contracting? Because lies feel heavy and they limit you, which are these lies that we're telling ourselves. Truth feels light and sets us free. So the moment we're like this, oh, can I look at just this thought? Yeah, I can. Can I look at the next thought? So if we learn to like live and take in a moment at a time, it's just easy. We're just taking in a moment and a thought at a time versus the idea of I've got to figure out how to get up that fucking mountain. I always say, like, put your head the fuck down, take it a moment at a time, and you look up and you're like, oh my God, I've already gone like a mile. Wow, look at me. And then, put your head down, and then all of a sudden you're at the fucking top of the mountain, and then you're transversing the next mountain and the next mountain, and life just continues to get greater and greater and greater. Yet if we start from the home base that, wow, like I'm just playing a fucking game. I'm just playing a game of frequency. Everything is just frequency and vibration. This thought and this idea and this experience over here is a lower vibration. This one's a high vibration. If I'm experiencing this, cool. I'm playing in how I get to heal and play with the frequencies to bring this up to a higher frequency. But it really does get to be easy. And that's the idea that we get to reprogram with or choose to look for, is that it is ease and grace.
That is literally a mic drop moment right there, Marci. I've got to say, I think that's an epic point to end on. I'd love you to summarize these 5 steps, because I think that information that you've just given people right there is just the easiest, most achievable way to improve their lives. step by step. So please repeat those.
I would be
Please tell everybody where they can find you, where they can get more of Marci. They want more of Marci. I know they do.
I'm like, my team handles everything. I literally don't know how to do a PayPal or set up my own health account because I'm living in my genius. I'm like, where are these? We give these for free, honestly, because it is so, my passion is that people learn to move through. I love seeing the pathway instead of it being like, they're stuck, like just like, okay, I want to change my life, but they're stuck in the heaviness and the hardship. It does really get to be easy. So we'll make sure you have the link or we can share where it is. I'm sure if you go to marcilock.com, it's my freedom activators. But we do have a place where, you get them for free. And so you can go through this. And there's lots of other teachings and tools of how to alchemize with all this. But the 5 steps basically is step 1, which is, what am I feeling? So whether I'm fucking angry, I'm pissed off, or you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm feeling, you can look in your body. The body has, if it's in the stomach, we know it's connected to fear. Oh, what could I be afraid of? If I have a headache, I'm like, ooh, what am I angry about? And it will allow us to see what's vibrating, what's happening in the field. Why am I feeling this way? Starts to give us more connection to what it's tied to. And there's depths, again, the training will go into like the depths of when how to lead people to that, to go even deeper, but it's just starting to tune to like, oh, this is why I was triggered. Then we come to, what do I really want? So we're really calling ourselves on our bullshit. What do I really want to create? If I want to create this, then I'm starting to alchemize these stories. And then the next step is to come to our new belief in perception. Again, whatever I alchemize, I'm like, oh, I'm safe to be seen. Oh, that's right. Like, I'm stronger every day if I'm focusing on my health, and that's something I can believe. It's something that we can actually believe that, as to be true for us to move forward. And then the 5th step is, how do I take action right now on this? Because now I get to prove and show to the universe and declare with a new action, this is where I'm going. But now if someone like alchemizes these stories, like, I'm going to put out my marketing and do this thing, and deep down they're really nervous and afraid that it's not going to work. And we alchemize the stories and they're like, I'm excited, this is going to be awesome. But they're like, all right, I'm going to take the action, I'm going to do it. But you still notice there's fear there. We're not quite complete. We want to come to a place where we feel completely at peace, completely in solution with it. And then we're like, so my alchemy to this is, how does this get to be fun and easy? So even in every step I've ever taken in my life, like call to the next thing, writing my book, my podcast, etc., it was like noticing where fear, resistance would come up, writing my book. And it was like, oh, what are the stories here? What if it's not good enough? What if this and this? And as I alchemize that to then like, you know what, I'm like, everything that I share is here for, to do a greater good for someone. It doesn't matter if people like it or not. And I alchemize these stories. Then even in doing it, it's like, how does it get to be fun and easy? With my first podcast, the first show I did was, I recorded a show that was silly because I noticed I had all this fear about doing it, because it was like the next layer of vulnerability, right? And so once I did that, it was like, okay, how does this get to be fun and easy? So then we're bringing a light vibration to it. Like, how does this get to be fun and easy? How do I get to have joy about this? So that's kind of a good little summary, but there's the free thing that we give away that gives lots of like detail to it to support people so they can definitely start practicing these steps, and just instantly your life starts to alchemize. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Marci. Oh. You are an absolute superpower in the world. I love everything that you do. I love the energy you bring into a room and everything that you create. I think it's so impactful, so powerful. And I just look forward to keep connecting with you and seeing what else you do in the world. It's epic.
Yeah, you too,
beloved. Thank you so much
for what you created and shared. I think it's such a valuable gift, and what is so many people are seeking is just the reflection of someone who's doing it, and having these conversations are so valuable, important, of like, wow, I can go from this to that, and this is what's really available for us. So thank you for doing your journey, and I love you. You're such a beautiful light being. I'm so grateful to be around.
Love you too. Thank you so much for coming.
This is the Platinum Podcast.